Is Islam a religion of peace? Yes or no? My ambiguous answer to that would be today it is. Whether it was in the past, who knows, and should we really care too much about the past? If we want to dwell in the past, in history, there's a lot of accusations to be made over back and forth in Judaism, in Christianity, even in Hinduism and Buddhism. So let's not dwell too much in the past of Islam being a violent religion or a compassionate one. Let's analyze today what it is. As I have explained in the part of Islamophysicism, whether it exists or not, this is another chapter in that part. Islam, a religion of peace. Of course, there are, as with all things in the world, a certain fringe of people and leaders who are not peaceful at all. But if we should distinct those people from the general public or the majority, then we should find reasons not to be too worried about a particular violent or not so peaceful approach. For example, George W. Bush, at this age and time, the President of the United States, waging two major wars, one in Afghanistan and one in Iraq. There are a lot of citizens being killed by bombs, by bullets, by soldiers. And those soldiers, just last week, there was a report that the 4,000th soldier of USA was killed. 4,000 soldiers. But there are hundreds of thousands of Iraq citizens. I believe there are 600,000 victims in Iraq. There are hundreds of thousands of victims in Afghanistan. So if you want to say that particular ideology or that particular political movement is violent, then you should also condemn the USA. At this moment, the United States is waging a war on two fronts, one in Iraq and one in Afghanistan. To say that the USA is not peaceful would be a misrepresentation of facts. Of course, some facts point to the wars, which are, according to a lot of people, waged unfairly against people who don't deserve to be bombed and to be killed. And on the other hand, the government of the United States thinks it's very necessary to do so. In any case, comparing it to Islam at present time, is Islam a religion of peace? Islam is most likely a religion of peace as much as Christianity is, and Judaism is, and Hinduism is. When one would refer to the Old Testament and that being part of and Judaism and Christianity, would one refer to the violent verses, the violent chapters of the Old Testament? The Jews or the Christians would say, yes, well, we don't do that anymore. We don't kill people if they work on the Sabbath. We don't kill adulterers anymore. We have reformed our religion. We have advanced. And as Christianity and Judaism has, so should Islam. We have reformed. Why can't you reform Islam? That claim of reformation, is that true? Is Christianity reformed? Is Judaism reformed? Well, no, they aren't. They have maybe been put in a different jacket. But still, even the most recent sects of Christianity still believe in the Old Testament. They believe in Moses. They believe in Elijah. They believe that the infidels, the pagans, the heathens should have been killed at that particular time. So, to distinct that from Islamic ideology is quite unfair. They believe in the same kind of things as being written. There are people like Mike Huckabee and Mel Gibson who believe that the Bible is inerrant. It has no errors. It's word by word the story of God. There's no error in it. Well, of course, the majority of critics of Christianity know and say that even the slightest story in the Old Testament can be proven wrong. I personally, I have a very strong opinion of that, but as you may have realized, I do not believe in the Old Testament, neither do I believe in the New Testament. Do I believe that Jesus Christ existed? Well, that doesn't matter. Do I believe that Moses existed? That doesn't matter either. The fact is, the story itself is violent. Jesus Christ, and I will come to that here, has been himself not very peaceful. Well, how can that be then? Well, I'll explain to you. Putting Islam in context, peace-wise and conversion-wise, we still have to realize that more of the world converted to Christianity than to Islam. Islam may have been spread in some way, in some parts, with the sword, but so was Christianity. So, did Islam spread by the sword or by conquest and conversion? Well, that doesn't matter too much. We're comparing facts now. The fact is, there are more adherents to Christianity than to Islam. As you saw, 33% of the world is Christian. Of course, there are 15,000 denominations as Christianity, so one thinks the Pope is the representative of God on earth, and the other Christian denomination thinks that the Pope will go to hell. So there is a big difference there in ideology.